Hi guys, welcome back to the Naio Nails channel. It's Meg and we're going to do a resin style nail today. I'm using cracked ice, which is this gorgeous cat eye polish that we offer. It's a bluey grey shade, kind of silvery as well, but I would definitely say it's got more of a bluey tinge. So to begin, you want to figure out where you want the blue section of your nail to be. It doesn't need to be neat, you just want it to be a random shape, I guess. So pointy edges, like higher, lower. It could be really thin going from the top of the nail down to the bottom. But today I just did two designs and this is the one I'm showing you. So I focused it mainly on the center of the nail and I am just dragging my product up and down slightly so that the edges look a little bit rustic and not too neat. Once you've done that, take your magnet and you just want to shine up your product, which essentially just gets rid of all of the lines. Just move it around gently. And then you're going to go in with another layer. Don't put too much on, but just enough so that you can then go back in with your fine liner brush and move it around to coat the whole area. Once you've done that, you are going to repeat the same step again with your magnet. So you're now going to just figure out how you want your cat eye to sit and how you want it to look. I'll show you in a second how I achieve that. And then the next step after doing our cat eye section is going to be to add a pop of blue with our jelly colour, blue raspberry. So here I was just moving the product around and making sure that I had it in exactly the place that I wanted, which was here, which I thought looked really cute. When it's on a smaller section, cat eye can be a little bit tricky to get where you want, just depending on how you move the nail around and where the light hits it. But I was quite happy with how this turned out in the end. I just focused it mainly towards the center in the diagonal. Remember to cure that for 60 seconds once you're happy, and then we'll get on to blue raspberry. So this is a jelly polish that we offer and it's basically sheer, so it's not got full coverage, but it's quite easily applied over a different colour so it can give it a slightly different tint. So I thought this would look really cute over cracked ice because it's still on the blue tinge and you'll still see the cat eye effect underneath, but it will just give it like a real bright pop of colour, which is kind of what I was going for against the dark base that we're going to be using. I did also try and keep the product super thin towards the centre where I pushed all my metal particles in the polish towards, because I didn't want to overpower the cat eye effect that was underneath. So you can see here I did try and keep the brighter areas a little bit thinner with the blue polish and it came out really nice actually. I was quite happy with it. So next, once I've cured that for 60 seconds, we are then going to go in with Indulgence. Here she is. This is the main character in our salon. It has been for the last 5 odd years. Every single winter this colour is pulled out and we end up having to restock it like 10 times. It's very, very popular. It's kind of like in between your darkest red that you could find with a splash of brown, but maybe a little bit of purple, but is there? I don't know. It's just a lovely, unique colour. And I thought that this and the blue would contrast super cute against each other, along with our chrome line that we'll put around the blue in the centre. So you want to make sure that you just leave a little gap around the blue area here when you're using your main brush, because you don't want to flood that area that we just did the cat eye polish in. So just leave a tiny little gap and then go in with a fine liner brush if you need to just smooth out and get really tight up to the blue line. I found that that worked for me and gave me a nice clean, crisp finish. So here I am just showing you the pattern that I did on the other one. I didn't really film the whole of my other nail, but I just wanted you to see the kind of shape that you can also create on top of the one I've just done. So I just went with a more long, thin line up and down the nail in the opposite direction for that one. I'm just adding a second coat here as well, guys. Also, just quickly, if you do want to purchase any of these products, please make sure to check out the description box below and everything you need will be there. You can see this colour is starting to really pop now against the blue. Once you put your second coat on, trust me, it does get a lot darker. The first coat can be a little bit wishy-washy sometimes, and people might panic and all of a sudden go, oh, like, you know, it's going to look a little bit purple or a bit pink, but it doesn't. It's just the undercoat. Once the second coat's on, it's like stunning. It's nice and deep and a really nice shade. So here I'm just going over my lines and making sure that everything is neat and clean and crisp up to the blue line again. And then we will go in with our base coat in a second before I buff the nail. Here I am again, just adding my second layer to the other nail that I was doing as well. And I think this one looks quite cool because it's got a little bit more of the cat eye in it, because it's obviously covering more of the nail. I thought it might be cool to just do two different designs so you can see, you know, in two different forms how it's going to look rather than just the one. And to be fair, they both came out really cute. I'd quite like to do a whole set of these, but I've not had anyone ask for it yet. But you can see how nice the cat eye polish works. Look how easily it moves. That one worked a lot quicker and a lot easier than the first one for me, I must admit. I think I was just overthinking the first one. But yeah, that's just me anyway. I always overthink everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on now, and then I will be back with you in a second for the next step to our first nail. Okay guys, so the next step that you want to do once you've done your two coats of Indulgence is to add a base coat. Once you've put base coat on, make sure to cure it for 60 seconds, and then after that we are going to buff the whole nail down with our white buffing block. And this is essentially just going to protect what we've done underneath and give us a nice clean dry base which is not tacky, so that our chrome powder doesn't stick to it. Now I know this does seem a little bit wrong and it seems backwards, and it's like, what if I ruin the nail? But trust me, the top coats, base coats, whatever you want to use will protect it, and when you're buffing it will not get rid of it. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Every time I do it I have like little heart palpitations, but every time I do it, it comes out perfectly. This is a really great way for if you want to do a base and then you want to then add designs on top of it. Without ruining the base that you just did, because obviously unless you top coat it, you're never gonna be able to do anything else on it and make a mistake without ruining everything that you've just done. So it is a really good trick, and by buffing the nail you don't have that slippy, shiny, non-white top coat layer. So I found that just buffing everything away was the best way to do it. So I'm going in with Serious Black here, and I'm just going around the blue, and this is where we're going to conceal it with our gold chrome, and I will be using one of our chrome pens for that, which is super exciting. They're really, really cool. They're a very, very neat product, very thin and easy to carry and just very lightweight. As you can see here, I'm just veering off of the edges of that main line that I did around the blue, because I just wanted it to look like it's got a little bit more detail. So I've gone in with a few little lines here and there, and just basically adding the thin parts to the thicker nail. I just think this adds a really delicate finish to the design. So this is how the second nail looked once I'd done all my little lines and my main line. And then I've taken my gold holographic chrome pen and I'm just popping the product on the line. You don't need a lot at all. And you can just use the sponge that's on there, but I find that this is a really good way of not wasting product, is to just apply a small amount to where you need and then get yourself a sponge and rub it in, and it does go far. You don't need a lot of product. You can see here that it works really well and it's super easy to do, and also the product has not stuck to the base that we did before, which is the key to the buffing. Like I said earlier, it's giving like Beauty and the Beast, very mystical. I don't know, I've never done this before. I just really liked it. I thought it would look really cool. You can also add stuff within that, would look nice in the resin. But yeah, it's quite cute. Could be like a mirror effect, I guess. So the finishing touches is to take your top coat and you will see that gorgeous, gorgeous Indulgence colour pop through, and also the blue. This is probably my favourite bit about doing nails, where I've buffed the undercoat, because at the end you get to see this like big grand reveal and the clients are like, oh my god, there's my colour. So yeah, I was really happy with how this came out once I popped that on. You can see the difference here in the colours, so don't be alarmed if they look like that, because once you put your top coat on, it will look all good. So that's it from me today, guys. I'm just going to finish off top coating these nails, and that's the design done. It's quite easy, quite simple. Please let me know down in the comments if you do recreate this yourself and try it out. And if you want to purchase any of the products, remember they are in the description box for you. If you haven't clicked subscribe, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, because then you get to see me rambling on more videos. But anyway, make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos as well, hit the notification bell. That will notify you when we upload. And again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.